Okay, we are good count now. So, hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our day 3 class, day 2 class after the demo. Otherwise, it's a day 3 class. So, I'll give a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday before we continue with our conversations for today. Okay. Before I start, I also have a question on the chat window. Let me see if I can answer this question. So it's from Hanu. It says, hi Kiran, this is my first demo class attending. Basic question, is this course covers penetration testing as well? The answer is yes, Hanu. We are covering vulnerability assessment testing and penetration testing as well. Okay, fine. So let me share my screen. And once my screen is visible, I request you guys to confirm. So yesterday we have started with chapter 1 and we have discussed what is a threat. Threat is typically the application that we are testing. We have discussed what is a target. So target is typically the application that we are testing for security testing or penetration testing or accessibility testing. As I'm getting some echo, may I request everyone to be on mute? Okay. Then we have discussed a threat. A threat is typically a vulnerability that you are finding in the application, which causes a potential risk in the application from a business data theft perspective or loss perspective. Then we have discussed a CVSS, which stands for Common Vulnerability Scoring System. Every vulnerability you find in the security testing process should be assigned a CVSS scoring. And we use the word threat, not the word bug. Then we use CVE, Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. It is typically a database that contains the details of all the vulnerabilities found on this internet across all the geographies, and it maintains what is the attack, what did the hacker do, what is the remediation from a developer perspective, what is the CVSS scoring on a scale of 10 that we have seen yesterday. Then we have vulnerability assessment testing, which typically is a testing process where you use the scanner tools to scan the application for identifying the security threats. And that's what we are going to capture using vulnerability assessment testing process. Then we have penetration testing. This is the next step after vulnerability assessment, where we try to provide evidences to the developer that these threats are really attackable by even a tester. In vulnerability assessment testing, we don't provide evidences. We just tell this problem exists, but there is no permanent, there is no evidence that you are providing. In penetration testing, you have to try with malicious payloads and see if you can find a way to prove the vulnerability. Then finally, we have discussed security testing. So security testing is typically a combination of vulnerability assessment testing and penetration testing. Then we have discussed what is OWASP. OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project. It is the industry body that helps the developers, testers, how to develop the application from a security perspective, how to test the application from a security perspective. So these are the documentation that we have written yesterday, where we discussed for almost 1 hour all these points. I just quickly took 5 minutes or 3 minutes to give a quick overview of what all these things. Now, today we'll continue with OWASP vulnerabilities from a theoretical perspective so that you understand what are these vulnerabilities. But before I do so, I still want to ask you guys, do you have any questions for me? You can either put it on the chat or unmute and let me know.
Hello, sir. This is Narayana.
Yes.
I'm a manual test engineer. Apart from functional testing, is there any prerequisite to learn this security testing or this course?
I would say the prerequisite in my view would be if you're coming from software engineering background, whether you are a developer or a manager or a tester, that is more than enough.
Okay. Do we need to know any coding language?
No, absolutely no.
Okay. And the security testing which we learn here, is it something like manual what we do now, or it's like automation one?
Both. We are covering both.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Meaning we don't write any code. When I say automation, we don't write any code.
Mm-hmm.
We will be using
Tools.
the tools which helps us in configuring the required process to exploit the penetration testing process. You might write 1 or 2 lines of code, but that's something which is already available in the tools. So you don't have to come with any programming language background as such.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from others? Okay. I see a message on the chat as well. This is from Hanu. Are we using Kali Linux for this security and penetration testing? No, Hanu, we are using our Windows only. We use Windows OS, and I'll be showing you the entire process. Kali Linux also can be used, but we don't need it. Now, even Windows supports all these things. Okay, so now let's move on, guys. So now we'll talk about what are the OWASP listed vulnerabilities. Okay, so let me show you here and talk about it. So first we have something called sensitive information disclosure. Let me tell you what exactly I mean by sensitive information disclosure. Whenever we develop an application and deploy it in the testing environment or in the production environment, for that matter, in any environment, right? It could be a developer's environment, staging environment, testing environment, or production or UAT environment, or pre-production environment. There is some sensitive data which the hacker can steal from your application. Now, sensitive information could include your operating system details, the server details where the code is present or deployed, the database details, such as which database you are using, which version you are using, the framework details, such as which framework you have used in the project in the backend, which version of the framework you have used, what are the open source frameworks you have used or paid frameworks that you have used. Hacker can try to steal all this information from your deployed application on the production. Now, with that information, he can do whatever he wanted to do based on his talent. So this vulnerability from OWASP says that when you deploy an application on any environment, starting from low environments such as Dev1 QA environment until the higher environments such as pre-production and production environment, no sensitive data should be exposed to the end user. That is what this vulnerability says. And how do we find it? Of course, there are tools available which helps us to do all those things, and I'm going to help you with all those tools. So this is the first one, sensitive information disclosure. So I will say OWASP recommends that the below sensitive information should never be exposed to outsiders. Now, outsider could be an attacker also, right? Now, what are those sensitive data? Let me say OS details, programming language details, database details, backend framework details, server details, etc. Anything for that, right? And there are so many tools available in the market which helps you to find this. Now, what are those tools? Of course, that will be a little surprise. Only when we get into the detailed discussion in the next class, we'll talk about them. So I cannot name the tools names right away. Okay, so there are tools available which are open source, which are commercial, that helps us to detect sensitive information disclosure. There are tools available that you can install on your browser, or the tools available that you can install on your computer. There are tools available which you use in your traditional API testing or front-end automation testing. They also help you to find this sensitive information disclosure. Example, if I have to show you one live example, right? So if I right click and click on inspect, and maybe I'll do it on a new tab. I'll right click, inspect. I'll go to the network tab. And this is where we see all the network traffic that's going from client to server, meaning from browser to server. So I have one API which I'm hitting on the browser. And right now I see this service is temporarily unavailable. That's okay. The website is not working. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But I'll show you some sensitive data just to ensure that you get a little bit understanding. So the request I have hit has come here. And here, under the headers tab, I see something called response headers. So this is the response I'm getting from server. I expand it. You see the server name is exposed, AWSELB. So that's the server name, and the version they're using is 2.0. So now I have realized which server these guys are using, which version they are using. So don't you think that's a sensitive data? Definitely, yes. That's a sensitive data that's exposed by the developer. Now, who is Kiran? I'm an outsider for this application. I did not develop it. I am not the tester for this application also. Okay, but still I'm able to find all this information. If I have to find it for Isha Training Solutions website, right? I can just go here. And here I'll go to the first one, which is Isha Training Solutions. Under the response headers, you will see the server name that they have used is Apache. So they have used Apache server to deploy the code that they have written for developing this website. I can show a lot of other examples where more sensitive data will also be exposed. Okay, so this is without any tool, just by using the browser, I'm able to show you. So that's about sensitive information disclosure. Okay? And that's at a very normal level I have shown you. We will go in depth as well. For now, I just wanted to give a glimpse of it. Okay. Okay. Guys, please confirm if my screen share is visible and are you following with me until now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shiva, is the screen share visible? Looks like you said screen share is not visible to you. I'm sharing my screen. It should be visible to everyone. I can stop the screen share and do it one more time as well. Okay, so that's about sensitive information disclosure, guys. At a very basic level only I'm talking. The second one is using vulnerable and outdated components. So what this using vulnerable and outdated components tells is, okay, so using vulnerable and outdated components. Whenever the developer develops an application, he uses a lot of open source frameworks or commercial frameworks, programming languages also, right? We need to know whether the developer is using the latest version of the component and the framework, or he is using little outdated version of these components. Now, why should we talk about it? Because the old versions, when they are outdated, there are security reasons as well why they were kept outdated. Because hackers have got access to those technical details. Hackers said we are exploiting your previous version of Java framework. That's why Java is evolving every time, right? There are few projects where they're still using Java 17, but today Java 24 is also available. Java 21 is also available. So why is the company still using Java 17? I don't know, but still that's a problem because Java 24 is released today. And one of the reasons why Java 24 is released is obviously security reasons. And of course, performance reasons are there, more capabilities are there, but security also plays a role. So if my developer is still using old version of a programming language or old version of a framework or old version of any open source library, we should treat it as a threat to our project. That's what using vulnerable. Let's go on mute. That's what this one talks about. Okay. Yeah. So let me write here what OWASP says. So OWASP recommends that the developers always uses latest version of the programming language tools, frameworks, libraries, functions, etc. The reason is if you use an old version, there are evidences available in the market that those old versions are being, you know, exploited by the attackers. Now, if I try to give you a simple proof for that, right? So I'll simply Google jQuery latest version. So jQuery is one of the client-side language being used. So today the latest version of jQuery is 3.7.1. Okay. So what I will do, jQuery 2.8. Assume that my project is using jQuery 2.8.1. When I search with 2.8.1 vulnerabilities or any version, you just try whatever your developer is using. Example 183, I'll try. So if you go to this one of the search results, they clearly write here what is the problem with that particular version. Of course, the one I clicked, it says no vulnerabilities. But if you search the one that you have correctly entered, you will come to know. But example here, they say jQuery 1.8.3, which is released in 2012. It is having this vulnerability, cross-site scripting, and some explanation is given. There is also an Ajax level cross-site scripting. There is something called prototype pollution. So what is the recommendation? Upgrade to a recent version of jQuery. Right? So always ensure that your developer does not use old version of your frameworks or anything for that matter. Am I clear, guys, on the first one and the second one? Sensitive information disclosure and using vulnerable and outdated components. We will be getting into practicals in the next class. Okay. Today, I'm only teaching you theory. Practicals, we need to install tools and do it. So that I will do it in the practicals in the upcoming classes. Okay. I'll take a pause. Any questions on these two? Fine. I'll assume things are good. The third one is incorrectly configured missing response headers. Now, for this, you need to know what exactly is in response headers. Okay, that's a prerequisite I expect everyone to know, but I'll still explain this. So whenever the client sends a request to the server gives a response, right? We know client sends a request, server gives a response. Along with response, server gives something called response headers. So these response headers are additional metadata that provides more information about the response body. So sometimes these response headers the developer has added could be incorrect, could be not correctly configured, or they might be revealing a lot of sensitive data, or the security headers might be missing. Okay, I'll give a simple example, right? I sent a request on my browser. Okay, so the request I sent to server is show me the content of www.ishatrainingsolutions.com. And what is the response I get? HTML web content, I get the response, which is response body. Along with it, we also get some response headers like date, like on which date the response is coming. Then content type. Content type will tell what is the type of content you are getting from server, typically a HTML response, right? And sometimes it might say server, and the server that's responding is Apache. Then you might see something like caching, set cache, private. Like these are, there might be so many headers. So in this particular process, we check for whether each header is correctly configured or not. Is the date correctly configured or not? Is content type correctly configured or not? Is server correctly configured? If correctly configured, should it be present first of all? Now, server equals to Apache is correctly configured, but this should not be present because it is revealing sensitive data about your project. That's one problem. Then you see set cache is private, meaning caching is not allowed. Ideally, every project should have caching enabled because to improve the performance, and if the server is compromised or attacked, you still get the response from cache, so you don't get a malicious content from server. So the set cache header is configured, but incorrectly configured for this website. I'm not explaining again in depth now because it's a time-consuming process to talk more about this. So this header should not be private. Why it should not be private? Because of performance reasons, because of security reasons. So it should be something like maximum age is 3 days or 30 days or something like that. So this is incorrectly configured. So that's a problem we detect in this particular testing. Second one, I will ask the developer, hey, where is content type options header? I don't see it. Where is it? Then where is X-frame options? I don't see it. Like this, there are so many other security headers that we have to tell the developer to add to the APIs, to add to your mobile apps or to add to your web applications so that your application is secure. That is what we do in incorrectly configured and missing response headers. So here I will say OWASP recommends that the deployed applications, whether it is web or mobile apps or APIs, etc., anything, recommends that the deployed applications always uses proper headers with always uses the necessary headers with valid values and along with security headers. What are the security headers? What are the tools available? That we'll discuss obviously when the time comes. Any questions to me on this one? Okay, I see a question. Cache means memory. Yes, it's a temporary memory, Ramu. Caching means temporarily storing the server response on the browser side in the browser memory. Something like if you go to an ATM, you withdraw cash. And what do you do with the cash? You keep it in your wallet. So that money withdrawal from ATM or from the bank and keeping it in your pocket is like a caching process. Next time you go to an ice cream parlor and you want to buy an ice cream, you don't have to go to bank again, right? You just open the wallet, pay him 100 rupees and eat the ice cream, right? That's like a caching process. When the caching is completed, again, the response has to come from server. So after your pocket money is completed, again, you have to go to the bank, again, withdraw money. So bank is the server here. You going to the bank is the client. Caching is nothing but the wallet where you are storing the money. Is that clear, Ramu, and also for others? Everyone, is this third one also complete clear from a understanding perspective? Incorrectly configured missing response headers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we have insecure design. Under insecure design, we have something called open network ports detection. So you need to first understand what are network ports. So network ports are typically the communication channels between you, the client, and the server. So if I open WhatsApp, I can chat with someone, right, in the WhatsApp. With the WhatsApp, what are the features we all get? I can chat. I can do a voice call. I can do a video call. I can also share my screen now, right? So these are the 4 features I see now, right? Now, so this is one functionality, chatting. Voice call is second functionality. Video call is second functionality. Sharing your screen is a 4th functionality we have, right? For all these functionalities, they are mapped to a network port. Okay, everything is mapped to a network port. Network port decides how this functionality should work, meaning it acts as a communication channel between the client and the server to achieve the desired functionality. So you are able to chat with someone over WhatsApp because of a network port number called something. You are able to make a voice call with someone else because of a port number that's dedicated for a voice call. Similarly, you are able to make a video call or share your screen because there is a dedicated port set by WhatsApp team to allow that communication to happen. Since these network ports are kept open, you are able to do all these 4 functionalities. For some reason, I closed this port. Then in WhatsApp, no one can share the screen until I keep the port open. So the port can be kept open, can be kept closed. If it is open, people can use that functionality. If it is closed, people cannot use that functionality. And network ports in the internet, they start from 0 and it goes until 65,535, I guess. This is the range of network ports in the internet, out of which the port numbers 1 to 1024 or 1023 are reserved. And after 1024, they are for future, meaning reserved for future, I would say. These are being used we are being used today by everyone. So these are the port numbers. So one of the port number is given for chatting. One of the port number is given for voice. One of the port number is given for video and share my screen. Popular port numbers includes port number 80 or 8080. It is used by HTTP protocol to transfer data on the internet. Port number 443 is used by HTTPS for secure connections and to transfer the data on the internet. Then you have port number 22, which is used by FTP protocol, file transfer protocol. You have port number 25, which is SMTP, simple email transfer protocol. This is used for sending chatting messages. This is used for sending emails. Okay. Then you have 3306. This is used for a database. So whenever you have a database in the project deployed on the server, port number 3306 will be kept open so that people can submit the forms. They can contact you over a form submission or the data gets into the database. Like this, there are so many network ports available. Okay. So in this particular vulnerability, we detect which ports are open for the application we are testing, which ports are closed. And should these ports be open or should they be closed? That is what we discuss completely in this particular vulnerability. So OWASP recommends that so that the deployed applications always have the functionality dependent network ports as open, while other non-used network ports are closed. That is what we do in open network port detection. We have so many tools available to achieve this. And Nmap is one such tool. ZenMap is another tool. Shodan is another tool. So we have so many tools available for this. Any questions, guys, on network ports detection vulnerability? Anyone? Say something on the chat or unmute and say if you have a question or if you don't have a question. Please don't be silent. It's not a typical training where you just listen. Should be bidirectional training.
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I see one audio response, one chat response. Thank you, Amilkar. Okay, then we have server-side missing validations. One of the very dangerous vulnerability which is available everywhere. Okay.
We have
So,
this IP address, na?
where?
Generally, we have the IP address, Internet Protocol address.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
IP address is different from the port, na?
Yes,
Is
yes,
there a
different.
relation between the IP address and the port?
Sorry, say that again.
Is there any relation between the IP address and the port?
No, no relation.
No relation. Okay. Go ahead. Because you are saying we have to open these ports now. HTTP 8080 and HTTPS. For what we have to open these ports?
Okay, see, for the functionality to work, network port also plays a crucial role. So it is like, okay, I'll give a simple example, okay?
Okay.
In our home, we have a water tank on the terrace. And in the water tank, you have so much of water. How does the water come to the ground floor or to the below floors? Through pipes.
Exactly.
And at the end of the pipe, you have the tap. So if you open the tap, the water will come.
Okay.
So that tap is the functionality that you are using, which is like using a voice call.
Okay.
And if I ask the question, hey, how is water coming? You will say, hey, because I have water on the water storage tank. Okay, so water storage tank is on the top, which is the server.
Okay.
Tap is the voice call functionality you're using. But in between, if I don't have the pipe, will the water still come in the pipe when you open the tap?
No.
No, right? Pipe also plays an important role to connect the tap and the water tanker. Right?
So we are opening the port of the server actually.
Correct. So these ports act like your pipes to tell the server, now you can take this voice call. You can allow the voice call. If I remove the pipe, water will never come to the ground floor guy or to the first floor guy or second floor guy. For that matter, no one will get it. Similarly, without network ports, nothing will work on the internet.
Okay, so basically the client server interaction is done with the help of these ports only, because when the client make a request to the server will receive the request when the port is opened only.
Correct.
Okay, and the response it will give to the client.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, so there will be incoming port and outgoing port like that for the server.
Whatever is coming from the client,
yes,
it goes through the port to the server, and whatever is coming from server, it goes through the port and goes to client.
Okay. So the communication is only with the help of these ports. Port is a door actually, I think so.
Correct. You can think of it as a door that opens the communication channels, and if the port is open, only then it will be, only then the communication happens, else it will be closed.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So in this open network ports testing, we will talk about which ports are kept open by developer and why are they keeping it open. Is there a danger if they keep it open, or is it still okay? And why are the ports kept in blocked status or filtered status or closed status? And why is it kept in that status? Should it be actually closed or should it be open now? We'll discuss all those things while exploiting the vulnerability using the penetration testing or vulnerability assessment testing process. So the next one is server-side missing validations. Okay, Murli, do you have a question? Sorry, your voice is breaking, Murli. I cannot hear you at all. You can put it on the chat. It's completely breaking. You can unmute.
Where it was designed to have.
No. Your voice is breaking, Murli. I can't hear you. Go on mute and put it on the chat, please.
No, okay.
Otherwise, you can rejoin to see the audio
I'll
logs. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now we have server-side missing validations. See, server-side missing validation is very easy to understand, very easy to do, but you need to think very proactively to understand the server-side missing validations. See, in the front end, when I say front end, it is your browser application or mobile application. The front end developer might have done some validations, something like in the application, when the user is filling a form, there is a field called gender, and gender has only two values, male and female. So if you are a manual tester, you will say, okay, Kiran, I'm able to select a male and submit a form. I'm able to select a female and able to submit a form. So gender related test cases are working because the user can choose any one of these two, male or female. Good. That's what most of you test as two test cases. But have you ever tested if the API that's there in the backend, does it accept a gender as something else as well other than male and female? That's one check we have to do. Second thing, have you got into the database and written a query using insert into table name, set gender equals to ABCD, where name equals to something like John. And if the query is successfully executed, then in the database, I see gender equals to ABCD. Meaning other than male and female, I'm able to insert a value in the database for gender. But in the front end, we are not able to select anything other than gender, male and female. But in the query, you are able to do it. In the API, you are able to do it. Meaning the logic used by front-end developer is not handshaked properly with the back-end developer. It is not handshaked properly with server-side developer. So all the three developers are looking like a diversed people, meaning they are not married together. They are diversed. That's very incorrect. Whatever validations we have on the front end, same validations should be there on back end and on the server and the database. Similarly, whatever validations we have on the back end, same validations should be there on the front end, then on the server, on the database. Okay, so that testing typically is called as server-side missing validations. Now, this is a common vulnerability in most of the applications, including today also, which comes under insecure design. Okay, so here OWASP recommends that the deployed applications always have a proper handshaking process from a validation perspective between front-end applications to back-end applications to server and database. Okay, that's mandatory. Any questions on the server side missing validations, guys? Okay. Then I'll go to injection attacks, which is SQL injection, cross-site scripting injection, HTML injection. These three comes under injection attacks. So in SQL injection, what we do is you will be able to gain access to the application without having sometimes login credentials. Example, if I open this website, right? Let's say okay, so what is this page? It's a login page. I don't have the email address. I don't have the password. Can I still log in?
No.
Can you guys log in without having a registered email and password? No, is right. If I say there is a technique available in the internet using which without knowing email and password, you can still log in. That is possible with 1,000 ways. One such way is SQL injection. Okay. If I have to take another example where it is actually exploited by hackers is if you go to any banking application. So if I go to ICICIbank.com, if I go to personal login, I'm not saying it is applicable here. So now, can anyone register to internet banking? No, right? You cannot register. Bank generates your username password in the backend because you have an account with them. You are able to log in. Now, Kiran says, I don't have any user account in ICICI Bank. But can I still log in then? No, because I don't have a login, registration process here. So I need to have a user ID. I need to have a password. Only then I can log in. So without knowing someone's user ID or my user ID, without knowing someone's password or my password, if I say I can still log in into ICICI Bank, probably it is because of SQL injection concept. That is one example I'm giving. SQL injection does not say that I will help you only in login process. It will help you in a lot of ways. Okay? It can help you to avoid OTPs. It can help you avoid a login process. So many thousands of use cases are there. Based on how depth you learn and how depth you practice, you will come to know. So SQL injection typically uses the query language concepts. It tries to uses the SQL queries and understand how the login functionality is designed and tries to log into the application just by using a small SQL query logic. Okay, so I will give an example, guys, to make your SQL injection understand. Now, I have 13 participants who have joined this class, right? So that's a very good count. Now, few people are still joining to figure out how the training is. Is the trainer teaching in a way that I understand? Or, since it is free, let me attend all the 3 classes. 4th class, I might drop, I might enroll. Anything will be there, right? So in these 3 days, I as a trainer will also have a trick to convince you to enroll, right? Because I will ensure that I teach in the best way possible so that you benefit by enrolling in the course, right? I'm saying it's a business trick, but it's not a cheating, right? So I use a trick wherein I say, I don't show PPTs in my training. I'm writing everything, right? So that the entire training also will be writing and practically exploiting things where you feel real testing is happening, right? Similarly, SQL injection is also a way, it's also a trick that you play to log in into the application without knowing something. So that's one of the dangerous attacks available on the internet even till today. Facebook still faces SQL injection attacks. Gmail faces it. Instagram faces it. YouTube faces it. Every application faces it. Your current project that you are working also faces SQL injection attacks. Okay, guys. So I cannot talk more about SQL injection now, but when I show you an example, I'm sure you'll understand what exactly it is. Then we have cross-site scripting injection. This is an injection technique where we inject JavaScripts into the database directly from the front end or from the APIs. And if you're able to insert JavaScripts, and that's when you call it as cross-site scripting, because your JavaScripts can steal the cookies, it can steal the caching data, it can steal your usernames, passwords, it can steal anything based on how difficult JavaScript you write and send it to database. So if I write a JavaScript and put it in ICICI Bank database, that JavaScript will always email me who is logging in with what username and password. So if I put that in, if I put that JavaScript in ICICI database and tomorrow all you 13 guys are logging in into ICICI Bank at least once, after you log out, I will have your username and password sent as an email into my inbox. Because I have used cross-site scripting vulnerability in ICICI database and injected my scripts there. So it is like keeping a spy in the database to see who is coming, who is going, what are they doing. Then we have HTML injection. Here we use HTML language. In cross-site scripting, we use JavaScripts. In SQL injection, we use a SQL queries. So all the 3 are detectives only. All the 3 act as a spies. They go to the database and steal your data. Okay. Am I clear for everyone until this point? I would like to pause here for today's class and I'll take questions if there are any. from anyone in general questions or related to day 0, day 1, day 2, or day 1, day 2, day 3? Feel free to let me know if you have questions.
Hey Kiran,
Yeah.
Srinivas here. I just have one quick question around in today's software applications, most of them are hosted on cloud. If not 90%, I'm assuming it is 90%, but it can be anywhere between 80 and 90. So how important do you think is cloud penetration testing with respect to these hosted applications?
Okay. So penetration testing can be done at application level, irrespective of the deployment style. Penetration testing can be done at the cloud level, depending on whether it is on cloud or premise installations. If I talk about my application as an example, which is hosted on AWS, then I will say that AWS is anyway securing it, which is true. But still, my application today is still vulnerable for these OWASP attacks because I'm raising security threats every day. I see a cross-site scripting issue the other day. So my developer says, Kiran, how can you find it when we hosted in AWS? The answer is simple. So AWS is a cloud hosting provider. They just give you servers leased where you can deploy the code. And of course, they also provide geofencing and other security mechanisms. But did we all purchase all those mechanisms? The developer says, yes, we purchased it. Okay, fine. So maybe those mechanisms are not letting attacks from another country. But I'm from the same country. I'm able to get into your application because I have access to your API endpoints because I'm the tester. So using the API endpoints or using the mobile application or using the web application, I'm able to find or exploit a cross-site scripting attack, no matter whether it is deployed on AWS or Azure or on-premises servers. So the myth here is we assume in general that cloud deployments are safe and you don't have to go through security testing or penetration testing. That's not a correct statement to say. Cloud deployments are safe to some extent. But still, we have to try security testing separately, penetration testing separately at an application level. I don't know if I've answered your question, but that's my take. You can convey me, you can let me know if I did not answer.
Um, there is an extension to that question actually. So, uh, I understand the deployment and testing the security of the cloud deployment is important, as well as the penetration testing of the web applications hosted. My query is, does this course cover any of the cloud security testing? I should not say it, security, but cloud penetration testing, either one of the clouds for AWS or GCP kind of thing. Does this course cover those?
No, it won't cover.
Okay.
So what I cover is clearly mentioned on the course curriculum in the website. I'll still give anyways on the chat for everyone's reference. Please go through it. Whatever I have given, whatever we have given on the website, that's what we cover. But simply say cloud security testing is not being covered because that's not my area. And that itself is another, I would say, course altogether from AWS perspective or Azure perspective.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Yeah, so Kiran, this is Murli. So your course covers, say, I have developed an application and it's not in the cloud, but my application is through some IP exposed through some ports. So I was, I got disconnected in between. So my question was, say my application is exposed with some ports. So while we are doing a security testing, do we try to open other ports and then try to get into, or that's not the way that application works? That's my first question. Second question is, so I mean, do we try to open, close, and also try to somehow I mean, do you also share some scripts where we can insert those scripts inside the server in some database if we know? I mean, say I have created some. I can be a customer with dummy user, and once I get into, I might get some a possibility of getting some API calls, and all the documentation is anyway present in the product documents. But once I get into, and then, yeah, so I think I'm not trying to convey correctly. But my first question is, do we try to open the ports and try to play with them during this pen testing? I mean, during this penetration testing.
Okay, see, opening the ports and closing the ports will never be in will never be in testers' hands. That's typically taken care by developers. What I teach in the course is figuring out which ports are open, which ports are closed, and the decisions that we have to take based on that. That's what I cover. Opening the port, closing the port is something which I'm not teaching because that's not in our purview.
No, but can user do it, or only
No.
the server development can do it?
Only the developers can do it. Only the developers, or probably hackers also can do it if they are intelligent.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool guys. I hope everyone enjoyed the class today. And today we
Yeah.
end all the free sessions. If anyone,
I have a question. I just joined today itself. I could not join before because I was not in the town. So could you just give me a brief of? I mean, I just wanted to know what is the scope of security testing. I mean, what is the market demand, and is it like the demand is like only for security testing, or it is like in tandem with other type of testing requirements? Is there any are there any separate security testing demand in the demand in the job for the job, or like is there in conjunction with other type of testings?
see, security testing falls in multiple areas.
Yeah.
From if you're coming from software testing background, what I'm teaching is correct. If you're coming from DevOps background, then cloud level security testing is something that you have to learn, not this one. There, they explain security concepts from AWS perspective separately, Azure, Google Cloud separately. And if you're coming from a development background, then how to develop the application securely, that's separate course again. So you probably heard the word cyber security, right? So cyber securities are the top layer under which there are multiple child elements. So security testing is one of the things in it. Cloud security is different, infrastructure security is different, application security is different. Ours is testing process. I mean, it's application security, API security, network security, mobile app security. These are the 4 things I'm teaching. And also 5th one, source code level security. What I'm not teaching is those things which are not relevant for a test engineer. Okay.
So is there any coding involved also for any kind of security testing?
No. No coding.
No coding. So like we need to use like I have heard that there are some tools like Suite and other tools also. So
we use the tools. We use these tools, but coding is not needed, is what I mean.
okay, coding is not needed. Okay. So what I'm trying to ask is, what is the market demand as of now for security testing?
Whatever I'm teaching, that's the current demand for security testers.
I mean, are there a particular roles like is it growing field, or is it like, or what is the demand as of now? Or is it like what I'm trying to ask is it like there are some job requirements where it is written like performance testing, database testing, and then it is also written like security testing. But I've rarely seen like only security testing job requirement. Just wanted to confirm on that.
So I think I answered this question yesterday. Not sure who asked this. SDET could be another terminology companies uses
Yeah.
to talk about this, right? So don't search based on titles, because you might find the results, you might not.
Okay.
So SOC tester is there, security tester is there, SDET role is there. Some people just say, automation tester, and they put him in security testing. See, gone are the days where titles actually mean what you do.
Yeah, I get it. So nowadays it's more of like SDET requirement, and SDET requirement requires automation testing also, then security testing also, performance testing also. I mean, all these
Yes.
are you need to be full stack tester to become the SDET role, basically.
True.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So today we will. Today is the last day. Yeah, 1 second, Srinivas. I'll do a small announcement, and then I just have 1 minute because I have another batch starting now. I'm 2 minutes late already. So, guys, today is the last day of our free classes. Tomorrow we'll have the class only for people who have completed their enrollments. So if you are interested, please talk to Isha team and get your enrollments completed. Or if you have any questions, you can please ask me on the WhatsApp. I will definitely answer your queries because you have to take a right decision whether you want to be inside the course or you want to think through later and then join the course. That's up to you guys. But please take a wise decision. Okay. Yeah. Srinivas, go ahead quickly. What's the question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I reach out on WhatsApp?
Yeah, please. Please, you can put it on the group. I'll let you know the answers.
Sure, thanks.
Sure. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I hope the sessions are proving to be a little helpful to you guys, is what I feel at least. But should you still have any further questions, put it on WhatsApp groups and we will be answering questions. Thank you and see you guys tomorrow. Good night. Stay safe. Bye-bye.